Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about Iran and the Middle East. I'm going to be doing a monologue on this. So, first of all, I want to talk about, um, my opposition to the war in the very first place, the Iranian war. Um, I messaged a friend a few days before because we talk about politics a lot. And I told him that I was opposed to any strikes in the first place. And the reason why is because there's very few defections within the Islamic Republic before President Trump announced the US was going to war with Iran on February 28th. So because of this, regime change was extremely unlikely. American troops were likely to die in vain, and civilians in Iran and throughout the Middle East would die too. And already, right now, 1,200 plus Iranian civilians were killed. 13 US troops have been killed, 3.2 million Iranians have been displaced, 773 killed in Lebanon, 10,000 plus Iranians injured, and $16.5 billion spent in 2 weeks. And we're only at war with Iran right now because of Israel. Secretary of State Marco Rubio verbatim said, "We knew Israel was going to strike Iran, so we had to act first." The extremist far-right government of Israel, led by Benjamin Netanyahu, wants to steal more and more land to establish Greater Israel. If you're unaware of the Greater Israel Project, check out a map to see what land constitutes Greater Israel. And please understand that the current Israeli government is trying to take over most of the Middle East. You know how I know this? When a reporter asked Netanyahu if he felt connected to the vision of Greater Israel, he said, "Very much. I am on historic and spiritual mission. If you ask me, we are here." Netanyahu has been extremely clear with his intentions. So now shifting focus to the Temple Israel synagogue shooting. So of course I fully condemn it. And let me give you a little bit of background if you haven't heard by now. Most of you have probably heard about this. So if you aren't aware, a Lebanese man from Dearborn Heights, Michigan, drove his truck into a synagogue in West Bloomfield, Michigan, and intended to open fire on the synagogue, but was shot and killed before he could kill anyone. This synagogue served as a preschool and a daycare for 140 children that day. Thank God no one was killed. But let me give you all some context, though. The prior day, so March 11th, Wednesday, March 11th, this was one day before the Temple Israel attempted mass shooting. This man's two younger brothers and two nieces were killed in a brutal Israeli airstrike in Lebanon due to the ongoing war with Iran. This man's response was completely unjustified, so I don't justify it at all. What he attempted to do in the Temple Israel synagogue. But we must understand that when Israel commits war crimes abroad, this fuels anti-Semitism all throughout the world. Israel wants to serve as a safe haven against anti-Semitism, but the more they kill innocent civilians, the more anti-Semitism will grow. And like I said before, Netanyahu and the far-right Israeli government is very clear in their intentions for the Greater Israel Project. It is completely justified to resist this colonialism in the Middle East before Zionist colonialism takes over the entire Middle East, pretty much. Iran's Islamic Republic government is problematic. They definitely commit human rights abuses. But I hope we can all see that the biggest threat to the Middle East right now is Israel, specifically the current government under Benjamin Netanyahu. There's a lot of division, throughout history and especially these days between Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims, the two major sects of Islam. But I hope we can put our differences aside and unite as an ummah against this Zionist, expansionist, colonial threat in the Middle East. And of course, I hope for a ceasefire soon and peace in the Middle East and all throughout the world. If you want to talk about the Middle East with me, feel free to DM me. I'm always looking forward to learning and having interesting conversations. And I want you all to know that what's happening in the Middle East, even if you're apolitical, it impacts all of us. So gas prices, food prices, energy prices, just to name a few things. So we should care for humanitarian reasons about what's happening in the Middle East. But, we should also care for reasons pertaining to our day-to-day lives. So it's very important. And I hope, and this is usually most of my episodes are with a guest, long, close to an hour. This is short and sweet, but I just want to give my thoughts on this. This is very important to me. And so I hope you all continue or start to pay attention to what's happening in the Middle East right now, because it's very, very serious what's going on. Thank you for watching.